Perumanar Jiyar Thirudigade Sharanam, ANdAL nAchchiyAr Thirudigade Sharanam. First of all, apologies for the delayed start of the program. Got held up in previous programs and also traffic was heavy. So apologies. Today actually we not fully planned the topic, but we were just on the way discussing what to speak about. And one suggestion was, because this may Adi Masam, we'll have a discussion. So we'll greatness of speech. After that, we will have a question and time. Get going. Very unlike all this world, samsara is before the cycle. Find days and once become alvars, they were fully realized and they were fully knowledgeable. In fact, as knowledgeable as Bhagavan himself, because Bhagavan blessed him such knowledge that they could see past, present, and future. They could see everything right in front of their eyes, whatever happened in their past births, what kind of sufferings they went through. All of those were clearly visible to them. Bhagavan, they never looked back. They were fully engaged in Bhagavad Vishayam and they were fully glorifying Bhagavan and they were performing Upadesham to all the Atmas. That was the purpose of Bhagavan making them as alvars. Because he wanted to reform as many people as possible and bring them to Paramadam. Because he sees that all the Atmas are suffering in this samsara and he has tried in many different ways. He gave body and senses in the creation time. He gave Shastram. He himself incarnated. Even after all of these, Atmas were not looking at him. Rather, they were still engaged in worldly pursuits. So to have these Atmas an opportunity to be reformed, Bhagavan chose certain Atmas who were also suffering in the samsaram and he made them as alvars. And he did that because as Paramatma, if he spoke, many people would be scared. We don't know when we go near him, whether he will accept us or punish us. And some people were just not ready to accept his boasting of himself as Paramatma, Supreme. Like in Bhagavad Gita, he says in many places, surrender unto me, I am the greatest. Everyone is depending on me. Look at my Vishwarupam. Everyone is present here. So when somebody speaks great about himself, people will be a little bit hesitant to approach that person. Why is he so egoistic? But in Bhagavan, it is natural for him to be boasting his greatness because he has those greatness. Nothing is superficial or nothing is exaggeration. It's all truth. So he has to say, if someone comes and asks Bhagavan, who is supreme? He can only say, I am the supreme. He has no other option. But when someone hears this kind of expression, they don't like it. They think that this person is boasting about himself. But if another person comes and glorifies Bhagavan, then they all say, oh, humble, he is so kind-hearted, he is so looking forward to help others, and he is telling that Bhagavan is great, we have to surrender unto him, we have to serve him, and so on, then they will accept the same message. It's the same message. One is given by Bhagavan, the same message is given by Alvars. But when Alvars glorify Bhagavan, it is acceptable because we see it's a um, presentation of humility of Alvars, accepting that there is someone superior to them, and they have enjoyed the supremacy of Bhagavan. They have seen the greatness of Bhagavan. Now they are sharing. So we all appreciate. Oh, look at the person. He is enjoyed the supremacy of Bhagavan. And now he is kind enough to share it with others. So let us follow him. So that is how Alvar started. They also many to follow Bhagavan and accept his supremacy. So this is how it worked with Alvars. But ANdAL nAchchiyAr, even though she is counted among the Alvars, she is special in more than one way. First, she is an incarnation of Bhumi Pirati. And she has given up the presence in Vaikuntham and she has descended to Samsaram to Samsara to help everyone. Being the mother of all, she has that natural compassion towards all Atmas. So, for the sake of uplifting all Atmas, she descends like Bhagavan. So, unlike Alvars who are from here, ANdAL nAchchiyAr is from there, from Paramapadam. And also, being a woman, motherly nature in a much realistic way and a much better way than other Alvars. Must us, try to lift us. That will be natural for other. It's like a person in those stages, they will not fight so openly to act man in those days. But in those days, so when we look at them, we would know it is a man dressed up as a woman. So there will be a tinge of, it's not real anyway. That kind of, if a real woman acts in that play, it will look more natural and it will look more real. It will be more real. So the same thing can be seen here. When ANdAL nAchchiyAr comes for the sake of us, it is real that out of her compassion, she gives up Paramapadam, the comforts in Paramapadam, and she comes down to Samsara and she helps all the Atmas. There is also the incident in Varaha Avataram, when in Varaha Avataram, Bhagavan as Varaha, he brings out earth from the pralaya. And at that time, the earth is represented by Bhumi Pirati. Bhumi Pirati is the Abhimanini Devata for earth. She is the one who cares for earth more. And she is shivering because she is the one who was drowned. Not her really, but the earth being her body, she is shivering at that time. And Perumal, Varaha Bhagavan, console her. Don't worry, now you are out of danger. I am here for you. So when she was lifted from the deluge of ocean, she became worried, and she became more worried thinking about people who are submerged in the deluge of samsara. So even for me, who is the divine consort of Bhagavan and who has more patience than anyone else, more capacity to bear any suffering, because we see that Mother Nature, this earth, Mother Earth, is tortured so much. Since still she doesn't punish people so easily. She is remaining so patient, and she is remaining so compassionate, and accepts all those. We spit on earth, we kick on the earth, we throw things, we put garbage everywhere, we damage resources. Still, she is not showing her anger very frequently. It happens very rarely. So that quality of patience is there, ability to bear is there, and she is thinking, if I myself will be suffering so much, I don't have capacity. So we have is asking Bhagavan, what I do is, don't worry, there is the then there is Sharanagati. Both are there. She is satisfied, but still she is not fully satisfied. So plans to descend here herself and show the, that, and she sent to divine this Tirupavai and nAchchiyAr Tirumozhi. In this Tirupavai itself, she explains that Bhagavan is Upayam and Upayam. In the first pasuram itself, Narayanane Namakya Parai Taruvan. That itself is Tirupavai. Because Narayanan Namakku Parai Taruvan. So Narayana is Paramatma. Parai is ultimate result, Kainkaryam. Parai is, here is not just the, that is the Rupam is not mentioned, but it has to be understood that we are here. The fact that we are here, that itself is the Virodhi. Itself is the obstacle to reach Bhagavan. So in this first pasuram itself, she explains that Bhagavan is Upayam and Bhagavan is Upayam. That means Sharanagati is the only means to attain Bhagavan. And then in many pasurams, she says, Padi Padi, Ongi Ulagananda Uttaman Per Padi. In this manner, in many pasurams, she emphasizes the importance of singing the glories of Bhagavan. So practically, whatever we have to do, she has demonstrated by descending in this world as ANdAL nAchchiyAr and helping us. So this is the main aspect, the difference between Alvars and ANdAL nAchchiyAr. She descended from Paramapadam while Alvars were from here, and she is naturally a woman, so this compassion, this forbearance, all of these will be more in uh, in ANdAL nAchchiyAr in natural way. So if we look at ANdAL nAchchiyAr's life, we can learn so many important lessons. How to remain totally dependent on Bhagavan. How to exist for Bhagavan purely without any other external thoughts, influence, interests. She was only 5 years old when she sang Tirupavai and nAchchiyAr Tirumozhi. And soon after, Sri Ranganatha sends messengers to Periyalvar and asks him to bring ANdAL nAchchiyAr to Srirangam so that he can marry her. He actually appears in Periyalvar's dream and he says that it is time for you to bring ANdAL to Srirangam. So she was only 5 years old when she sang Tirupavai and Nachiyar Tirumoli. We can imagine the amount of devotion she had at a very young age. She was having such maturity and such total commitment for Perumal. She says, மானிடவர்க்கு என்று பேச்சுப்படில் வாழகில்லேன் கண்டாய் மன்மதனே. மானிடவர்க்கு என்று பேச்சுப்படில், that means if somebody speaks about me in connection with some mortal being, then I will not live even for a moment. Now, in the Vyakyanam is explained that he is not merely saying that if someone speaks about her in connection with some mortal being which is heard by her, she need not even hear about it. If someone speaks somewhere about her that ANdAL is for some human being, whether she knows it or not, she will be finished. That is how much she was having bhagam, the emotion. It is similar to the incident we can relate, the incident of Ravana bringing the head of Rama, or a fake head of Rama, and he is bringing that to Sita Pirati. He has it on a plate or something and he is presenting that to Sita Pirati, and he tells Sita Pirati, look, now your husband is gone. You need not, you cannot do anything more. You cannot depend on him anymore. You better come to me, he says. At that time, she starts wailing, crying out loudly like a normal woman will do if she sees her husband's head like that, severed. In this particular incident, there is an interesting conversation between Bhattar and nAchchiyAr, or nAchchiyAr and Nampillai. I don't remember exactly correctly right now. And one Swami asks, I think it is nAchchiyAr asking Bhattar, he is asking, why is Sita Pirati just wailing and crying out? Should she not have lost her life immediately on seeing Rama's head? If she was so attached to Rama, the moment she sees his head, she should have understood that he is gone. So she should also be gone because they cannot live without each other. And then for that, the explanation given is, even though she sees the head, she knows that he is not dead. Why? How can we say that? Because she is still alive. The fact that she is still alive, that proves that he is alive. If he was dead, she would have been dead immediately. And then why was she crying out loudly? Why was she wailing? For that, it is explained the normal reaction. If anyone sees the head of her husband, then normally will they start laughing or something? No, they will cry only naturally. So that is also a natural outpouring of emotions. But the fact that he is not dead is understood that she is also alive. So both are alive. Either both are alive or both are dead. That will be the fact. So this is explained in Tamil. There is a particular way in the ancient literature. It is said as Indriyamayame. Indriyamayame means that lover and boy and love girl, they will either live together each other or die together each other. That is how it is. So that particular concept was revealed. So similarly, ANdAl has this understanding. If anyone speaks about her connection with anyone else, then whether she knows it or not, she will die immediately. That is what she says. So that's the bhavam she had. And she did, in Tirupavai, she performed Nonbu. And then in Nachiyar Tirumozhi, she first worships Kama and Soma, Manmada and his brother. And then she goes to the pond and takes very cold bath, which is also considered as a anushtanam, sadhana anushtanam to get Bhagavan, doing tapasya. And then she does kudal. She checks whether, I'm going to marry Perumal or not, Ranganatha or not. So why is she doing all of this? Should she not be a role model in depending on Perumal and waiting for him? Whenever he comes, she will be accepted. So she should be waiting. Why is she taking her own efforts to reach Perumal? How can she do that? Even for us who are basically prapannas, who are following acharyas, for us these things are said. We should not go to other upayams. We should not do karma yogam, jnana yogam, bhakti yogam, tirunama sankirtanam. None of these should be done as upayam. We will do all karma, we'll acquire knowledge, we will do bhakti, we will do nama sankirtanam. All of that will be done as part of kainkaryam. But we will not do any of that as upayam. Even for us, very lowly, very insignificant people, these things are emphasized. How can such a great personality, ANdAl nAchchiyAr, who is Bhagavan's spouse, divine consort, how can she do those things? That question will arise for people. For that, our acharyas have explained that it is out of great urge. She cannot remain in this samsara. And she was only 5 years old while doing all of this. It is not that she was 25 years, 30 year old woman who is longing for a husband or anything. She is only 5 years old. So she is having that urge. Now she has come down to help all the samsaris, all the atmas. While she is doing it, she is also longing for her own Lord. So out of that urge, uncontrollable urge, she is doing these activities which are even forbidden for us. And when she does that, Bhagavan enjoys that. When she goes from here to there, trying to reach Bhagavan, Bhagavan is enjoying it. Why? It is like a particular person, he is seeing, let's say he is coming late from office. He and his wife are very close to each other, very intimate. They cannot remain separate for even a little bit of time. Now he comes late from office. And he has promised his wife that he will be at home at 5:30 or something like that. And she is so eagerly waiting. She is all dressed up and all that. Now he comes home at 5:30, but she waits from outside. He looks inside and she is seeing what she is doing. And she is observing that she is running around. She is checking her hair. She is putting all her ornaments. She is coming outside and seeing whether her husband is outside. And she so is not there. So she is becoming upset. Oh, what am I going to do? Why is he late today? She starts checking her mobile phone, dialing. He has put his phone in silent. He knows if she dials, then it will ring. And then, she will know that he is here only. But he is hiding somewhere behind the bush or some wall or something, and he is looking at all of that. And she is dialing, it's going, and she is becoming very upset. Oh, he's not even picking my phone. And looking at all of that, that person is really enjoying. He knows it is only short time frame, only for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. He's going to do this for her. He's not going to make her wait forever. Similarly, Perumal is making ANdAl nAchchiyAr wait for only 5 years. And that 5 years in the overall scheme of things, Kali Yugam itself is 4,32 years. And then 1/4 Chatur Yugam is 43 lakh 20,000 years, and then for one Brahma's life into 1,000 Chaturyugas. So in all of that, this 5 years is nothing. But in that 5 years, the amount of emotions ANdAL nAchchiyAr go through in separation from Perumal, that emotions are so enjoyed by Perumal. So that is the essence here. That is their intimacy. They both want to help Atmas, and they both make efforts, whether it is Sri Devi nAchchiyAr, Bhumi Devi nAchchiyAr, Neela Devi nAchchiyAr. Along with Perumal, they are all competing with each other to help Jivatmas. And in that process, they reveal so many different emotions. But their emotions are there for their mutual enjoyment and for our enjoyment also. When we see ANdAL nAchchiyAr in this particular mood, we recite nAchchiyAr Tirumadi, we become emotional. We become very happy singing those pastorals. So we can understand this is how we should also be. Not exactly, but this is how much love we should have should Perumal. We should not cross the boundary. That is why in the Taniyan itself, in the end, it is said, Nam Kadava Vanname Nalgu. So we are praying to ANdAL nAchchiyAr that we should not cross the boundaries like she did. So she should give us mercy so that we don't have to go to other upayams, other means. So that is what we are praying to her. Nam Kadava Vanname Nalgu means, please make sure that we don't cross our boundaries like you did, because you can do whatever you want, because you have so much uncontrollable urge, and you are his divine consort. If you do these things, he will enjoy. But if we violate these principles, if we after performing Sharanagati, if we go to other upayams, Perumal will not like it, because we don't have the same urge also. We can pretend. Sometimes people say, oh, why don't I do this nonbu? Why don't I do this upayantaram? Because it is clearly said that we should not do. Because it is contrary to our Swarupam. And if we do, there is all possibility that we will fail and we will slide down the slope. So for us, it is not apt to engage in these other upayams. That is what we are praying to her also. That please ensure that you give your mercy so that we don't have to engage in any other upayams. So that is another speciality of ANdAL nAchchiyAr, where she violated all the rules and she their boundaries. Said in Shastram that for great devotees, for totally surrendered devotees like Alvars, these worldly rules don't apply. Even though Alvars respect all these Shastram, they don't violate any of these Shastram. Still, we see that even though they violate, it is still enjoyable for Perumal, and it is still here for us also. It is so enjoyable. Nammalwar as Paramkushanagi is telling Perumal, you go away, don't come to me. Nambalde in commentary says, while we are searching for people to come to Perumal, here Alvar is saying, go away to Perumal. That is the amount of bhavam Nammalvar has towards Perumal. That's how much close. Because normally we would say, welcome Perumal. But here she is telling Perumal, who is coming eagerly, to go away. I don't want you. So how much closeness they have, how much intimacy they have to say those words. So these are there for us to enjoy, not to imitate, not to superficially say that I am also going to do, just because ANdAL nAchchiyAr did, I am also going to do these things. Because ANdAL nAchchiyAr did those things when she was 5 years old. Now we are 40 years old, 50 years old. We are saying, I am going to do this non-bu, I am going to do this prarthana, I am going to do these things. But this is only for attaining Perumal. If we say that, why? Follow our Purvacharyas. They have said clearly what we have to do. So these aspects are very nice in ANdAL nAchchiyAr. Just thought of sharing those. With that, we'll stop. And if you have any questions, we can go through them. Ah, See, Perumal is giving separation union to Alvar constantly. The whole Prabandham, Thiruvirtham, Tiruvasiriyam, Periya Tiruvandadi, and Tiruvaimoli, in all of these pasarams, Perumal is giving constant experience to Alvar. And he wants Alvar to sing these pasarams so that through the Upadeshams, many people will be saved from samsara. Alvar in the first pasaram itself, he says, Poinindriyanam, Pollavulukku, Alukudambu, Inninda Nirma, Ini Amuramai. I cannot stay in this samsara even for one more second. If Alvar doesn't stay in the samsara, then how can we get those pasarams? We have to get these pasarams from Alvar, that is Bhagavan's divine sankalpam. For that, Alvar has to stay in this world. But in the first pasaram itself, he is declaring, I don't want to stay in this world. Perumal says, okay, now we have to play with him. So he comes and it's with Alvar in his mind. Everything is happening in mind. Alvar stayed in that Tamarind tree only. Tripoli Alvar. He did not step out even to Pulindra Piranadi also he did not go. He was only in divine tamarind tree. That is how fixed he was in his position. So he is having all of these experiences, all the Divideshams he has performed, Mangalashasanam, all the different incarnations he enjoyed, all the different anubhavams he had, like sending messengers, saying that he will perform Madal, and doing Anukaram in Kadanyalam Seidenam Yaneyanam. He is pretending to be Bhagavan. So all of these experiences were in his mind only. So Perumal, what he does is he gives experience union in his mind. So Alvar gets that feeling that he had really union, and then moments later he will realize, oh, this did not happen physically. The mental platform in the mind. So once he realizes that, he will physically, he will stretch his, he will open his eyes and see if Perumal is in front of him. At that time, Perumal will not be there. So now he becomes upset. Now he starts singing with sorrow. And then he will sing like that 10 pasarams. At the end of 10 pasarams, Perumal will appear in front of him through his mind. And now Alvar will feel very happy. Oh, Perumal has come. Now I am happy. So he will sing the Phala Pasaram, the final Pasaram where he explains the result of this particular decade, whatever the benefit is. So this is how he kept Alvar going. And that 1000 Pasarams, he or 2-3 padigams, and then separation, and then union, and then separation. When that separation goes to the extreme, Alvar will say, I am going to send Madal now. And then Alvar will say, I am going to send messages now. I'll go out to the seashore, see the birds in the orchards there, and send them as messengers to Perumal. So these kind of experiences Alvar was having. And many of those, all of those have essence, Tatparyam. And through all of those Tatparyam, the highest principle of our sampradayam, highest principles were revealed. For example, if he sends messenger, that is indicating the role of Acharya. bird has both sides. So Acharya has Jnanam and Anushtanam. The Pakshi has wings and sides. So this is how it is equated. The bird will go from one person to another person, deliver the message, and unite their thoughts. Similarly, Acharya is going from the Jivatma, going to Perumal, informing the case of Jivatma to Perumal, and making Perumal accept that Jivatma. Just whatever Pirati does, same task is done by Acharya. Pirati is the pioneer for making Perumal accept Jivatma. So all are in this. So the concepts. If Alvar is sending Madal, that means he is unable to bear the separation from Perumal totally, and he has become totally mad. Like in those days, people will perform Madal. A man, woman very much, but the woman is not responding, or a woman likes a man very much, but the man is not responding to her. So at that time, to make her desire public, she will perform model. Performing model means they will have a horse-like structure made, and they will pretend that they are riding on that, and they will go with a palm leaf in their hand with the drawing of the beloved person, the man or woman, and they will cry out in public, "This person is not accepting me." Looking at that, somebody will go and tell the other person, "Don't you have any sense? Don't you have any compassion? That person is so much in love for you. Why don't you accept?" So either general public will do that, or their own relatives, the boys' parents or girls' parents, they'll see, "Oh, look at the other person. He is so longing for you. Why don't you accept? You are not going to find a better person who is in love with you." Like that, they will advise. Or finally, the other person himself or herself, they may accept, "Oh, this person has so much love for me. Why don't I accept?" So these are all concepts, the exchange between Jivatma and Paramatma. When the Jivatma is sending Madal, that is, the Jivatma is now showing his helpless nature. I don't have anyone else to speak for me. I am alone. I want to really reach you. So when that is heard by Bhagavatas, and that is heard by Acharyas, then they will unite the Jivatma to Paramatma. They will speak on behalf of us. Just like in that other case, how some town people or some elders, they will make that union happen. Similarly, this Jivatma Paramatma union will happen. So these are all Tatparyams, essence in Alvar's Pasurams, which were revealed only because Alvar's Pasurams came out for us.
So union is
Which one?
Yeah,
It
is mentally or physically. Physically for Atmas or mentally?
See, for Atma, it is Atma to Atma, there is no body in that. It is the process. The Atma has the ability, the knowledge aspect. When that knowledge expands fully, then he is able to understand Bhagavan's mood properly. He is able to respond, manifesting his Paratantriyam properly. So it's all in the knowledge level only. But for experience, that physical form is required. That is why in Paramapadam also, when we go there, we get physical form. And with that form only we can serve to Bhagavan. So there also Atmas go, and it is said that Atma can take one form, 3 forms, 5 forms, 100 forms, 1000 forms, as many forms as required for service. And that will be determined by Bhagavan himself. It is not, sometimes it is said that the Jivatma can take on his own, but the Jivatma becomes totally subservient on Bhagavan when that Atma becomes liberated. So at that time, there is no specific personal interest for the Jivatma. It is all Bhagavan's interest only. So that happens. So it's at that time, the experiences will be beyond the not just the body conception which we are having here. It's not the material, it is only spiritual body there. The whole Achit is also Pancha Upanishad Maya. Here it is Pancha Bhutam. Achit, body is. There, Achit is Pancha Upanishad. So it is not the material body, the spiritual body, which is not having this decay or any the materialistic things which happen here. Those things don't happen there. So there also a physical concept is there. The concept of service involves some physical form, but experience is for the Atma. Joy and see, Atma will only know joy and sorrow. It doesn't know whether it is hot or sweet or spicy. Those, let's say, we take some food and we put it in our mouth. The tongue knows that it is hot, spicy, sweet, bitter. But from Atma's perspective, it will only be joy or sorrow. That is what Atma feels. It doesn't feel anything like sweetness or those things. For Atma, it is only ultimately joy or sorrow. But the physical experience component is also there in Parampadam also. Here also we are serving with our body. We can serve with our mind also. We can serve with our speech also. There also those things will continue. But it's all spiritual there.
Like when we hear such bhavan expressed by Alvars or even our acharyas sometimes, especially ANdAL's noble separation and even Paramkushan nAchchiyAr, even Periyar was bhavan like a mother like that. So when we read it and when we hear it, so what should be our thought process? Because when we hear something great and what we consider is great, even in medical centers like that, there are two things happens to us. One thing is that we start developing appreciation about it. Second thing is that we also want to develop those things in us. So the same way when we also hear how Alvars felt the bhavam of Perumal,
Yeah.
so we also pray for that. I should also develop such a bhavam for the Perumal. The things are what should be our thought process.
See, in general, our thought process should be to become totally subservient to Perumal and ask him to use us the way he wants us to be engaged and used. So separately, I mean, we can long for Anubhavam. We can see how other Alvars, ANdAL, nAchchiyAr and Acharyas have enjoyed Perumal. We can seek that enjoyment initially. But over time, because we have the fortune of guidance from Purvacharyas on how we should live, how we should shape ourselves in Kaikaryam, and all of these are there, we can simply follow that process and try to become a good dasa, good adiyavan. Because when we become a good dasa, then Perumal more than what we want. See, let's say we have in our office, if we have 5 different staff, naturally any major project comes, we'll try to give it to the best person. Best person in the sense that in the case of office, it will be the most intelligent and most for them only that project will be given. Similarly, when Perumal wants to give some good experience, he'll see who is more receptive for that. If we are making our own choices, then he will just give that. But if we are receptive for his opinion, then he will give what is best. Because he wants to give the best to the most receptive person. So this is the bhavam we should develop. Ultimately, we should become very, very good servitor, with good servant. If we are the best servant, then we will get the best experience also naturally.
So if when I read about ANdAL's love for Krishna, so my thought process should be I want to serve her because she has so much love for Krishna.
Yeah, we can desire for that. We want to serve ANdAL nAchchiyAr who serve Perumal. And we can also say that we can request Perumal to engage me also to be totally subservient to him so that he can give all kinds of enjoyment to me.
It's up to you.
It's up to him totally. Whatever he wants to give, he can give. To him that, please keep me as the best servitor. Like in Thiruvaimozhi, எம்மா விட்டு திரமம் செப்பம் நின் செம்மா பாத பருப்பு தலை சேர்த்து. In that padigam, this concept of existing for Perumal's happiness is emphasized. He says, I don't even want moksham. My motto is to be at your lotus feet and engage in Kaikarya. So that is all I want. After that, whatever you want to give, that is up to you. And whatever you have to give it for your pleasure, not for my enforcement. Because I enforced you, give me moksham. So if you give me moksham, I don't want that moksham also. So he says, Thanakkeyaga enai kollumide. So you keep me for your own purpose only, not my purpose. So that is the ultimate stage. And there is another ultimate stage which is also shown in Veimarutholne. These two are very, very important when it comes to Bhagavan, how we should be. In Veimarutholne Padigam, towards the end, there Alvar says, I know you want to enjoy with gopis. This is in the Gopika Bhavam. He is talking to Krishna. He says, as a Gopika, Alvar is saying, I don't care whether you give enjoyment to me or not. I want you to be happy. So if you want to be happy with some Gopika, just do it before me, in front of me, so that I naturally become happier. So don't go away from me. But if you don't want to give me that experience, just give it to whoever you like. And I'll be happy. Because someone else gets that happiness. I'm happy for that. And that is actually highest principle of our Sampradayam also. If a Sri Vaishnava gets some glories, if they get some nice things, we should be happy, a recognition or whatever, we should be happy as if we got it. Similarly, if a Sri Vaishnava gets some suffering, we should feel sorrow as if we got that suffering. So that is the highest mood of a good Sri Vaishnava. We should try to develop it. It's not very easy. These things take a lot of self-control and following Purvacharya's instructions and following their works quite a bit. And then only such mood will develop. And it will develop probably in 1 in 1,000, 100,000. No, not life, but 1 in 1,000% maybe. Among 1,000 Sri Vaishnavas or 100,000 Sri Vaishnavas, there may be one person who genuinely feels happiness for someone else's happiness and genuinely feels sorrow for someone else's sorrow. But that is the goal for us. We have to, it all goes back to the philosophy where it is Vishtadvaita Siddhantam, where everything is Bhagavan's Sharira. If our head, mouth smiles, the mouth doesn't say, why don't you put the crown on my mouth? Rather, it is happy that the head got it. Because we have the understanding that the mouth and head belong to the same person's body. So whatever comes to head, it is happiness for the mouth also. Same way, if we understand that every Atma is Bhagavan's body, it doesn't matter whether this body gets greatness or this body gets greatness. So we will develop that understanding more clearly about being happy about others' happiness. When we have this foundational understanding that everything is Sharira of Bhagavan, the Sharira Shari Bhava is so significant, it is so powerful that it solves most of the confusions we will have.
Thank you for answering that. So just to conclude one line that when you see something very great, which is natural thought process of Vaishnava should be to become a subservient of it instead of getting imitation. Because it's Lord's
Yes.
hands that you will get it or not, but
Yes.
our thought process should be silent.
Yes.
And one more question I'll ask, answer. Everyone finish.
Yeah, Dean has some questions for me.
Hmm.
So, like there is some of the adverts and we see that they go into like model and all. So when we see the passions which are related to model, right, it's almost like for Kannan Permanently, not for Chakravarti Thirumagan.
Yeah.
So is there any specific reason for that?
See, lot of places there is reference to Krishna Avataram because Krishna Avataram is the most recent avatar. Because everyone is having Krishna Avataram fresh in their mind. Because if we look at the timelines, Krishna Avataram happened towards the end of Dwapara Yuga. Generally, people will say 5,000 years ago, but we have to count Sandhi period also. Between each Yuga, there is Purva Sandhi and Apara Sandhi. So that itself adds number of years. At the even Krishna Avatara should be around 1 lakh years ago. And if you think about other avatars, they are all further, far back, many lakhs and lakhs of years ago. We recently had this big controversy about Sri Rama's um, timeline also. That goes back in many Chaturayugams ago. Because we all think sometimes that in each yuga, in each Chaturayuga, all the incarnations happen, but it doesn't seem to be the case. In certain Chaturyugas only, certain incarnations happen. So when we look at these other avatars, they are going much farther in time. So Krishna Avataram is much closer to us time wise. And Rama Avataram being that Maryada Purushottama, we cannot go and do these kind of things when he has vowed to be Ekapatni Brata. He is only going to have one wife. And that is how it all started actually. When Shurpanaka came, she wanted to marry Rama and she wanted to push out Sita Pirati. That's how the whole Ramayana starts. So we don't want to become the cause for another Ramayana. So we should focus on someone who is receptive towards these things. So in Krishna Avatara, Bhagavan is open to accept many wives. He had 16,100 wives from Naraka's place. They were all held captive there and they wanted to marry Krishna. So he married them. And he also married other 8 main consorts, Rukmini Pirati, Satyabhama Pirati, and so on. So when we know that someone is receptive for this marriage proposal, we can propose to that person. There is no point proposing to someone who is not going to accept. So that is why all verses are always focused on Krishna Avataram. And Krishna Avataram is also a very enjoyable avataram. Everyone relates to Krishna, like next door boy, and everyone can uh, mischiefs also. Whatever fame Rama got by being very disciplined, very honest, very straightforward, Krishna got the same fame by being the opposite. But Alvar himself says, Nammalvar says, Adu idu uduvana ennalavana un seigai ennai naivikum. Whether it is good or bad, it doesn't matter. It is your activity. It makes me become weak. So it has to be Bhagavan's activity. So that is the essence here. Now, if you look at it this way, Krishna Avataram is more approachable, more friendly, more open to accepting many wives. So all verse when they are in the feminine mood, they approach Krishna.
Sorry,
Huh.
Maria have 2 questions.
Huh.
that ANdAL is avatar.
Huh.
Namata says my Padma.
Yeah.
But Tulpananda, Madhurati and they don't mention that they had two judges. How we must conclude that they being from samsara, but ANdAL is directly from avatar.
See, the first of all, the Guru Parampara Charitram explains ANdAL's incarnation. And Manawar Mamigal also said, இன்னோ திருவாடிப்புறம் எமக்காவன்னோ இங்கு ஆண்டாள் அவதரித்தாள் புண்ணான வாழ்வான வைகுந்த வான்புகந்த கலந்து ஆழ்வார் திருமகளாராய். So Manawar Mamigal has explicitly mentioned that Bhumi Pirati is only descended as ANdAL nAchchiyAr. Manawar Mamigal is Adishesha himself. So having seen Bhumi Pirati in close quarters, he will know who is incarnation, who is not. So that is one aspect.
He concluded to be any pramanas or his word is only a pramana.
His word itself is a pramana for us, but he also bases it based on Purvacharya's explanations only. Previously, it is explained that ANdAL nAchchiyAr is Bhumi Pirati's avataram. Even in her life history itself, it is shown that she appears from the Tulasi, not born from somebody's womb. So those are indications of special personalities incarnating. And also, Tirupanalvar has also said, Baramaya Padavinai Pattarthi Enathan Varamaki Vaitan. So he has said, Baramaya Padavinai, very heavy, ancient sins has been taken away, has been eliminated. So many Alvars have said in different ways, and even if Alvars have not said explicitly, Nammalvar is kind of the chief of all the Alvars. So when Nammalvar says something, it applies to all of the Alvars. All the Alvars are seen as Avayavam, Angam of Nammalvar. So Nammalvar is seen as the Angi, and all are his limbs. So whatever is applicable for Nammalvar explicitly verified and explained, that will be applicable for all other Alvars, unless there is specific pramana that this Alvar is not from this world. But there is no specific such mention, apart from a couple of references in the Guru Parampara, where each Alvar is associated with a particular Nitya Suri Samsha. But that is also based on their glorification. They have been said like that. Based on their greatness, they are glorified. That this person is maybe Shankar's avatara, this person is Sudarshana Chakra's avatara, and so on. It is looking at their greatness, they felt, some Purvacharyas felt, oh, maybe he is Sudarshana's Chakra Samsha.
Same way we cannot take Mandalas.
No, because explicitly it is said by Manawar Mamnigal and other Acharyas in our Purvacharyas. See, for us, Purvacharyas' words are Pramana. Because these things you will not see them in Shastram directly, because there is no specific reference of those who are born in here, apart from a few references. For example, this Varaha Avataram and protecting Bhumi and Bhumi Pirati vowing that will help the Atmas, that can be said, taken as a reference, but there is no direct evidence. So we have to accept whatever Purvacharyas have said. That is the primary source for us.
Second question. So, where I told Gita, Bhagavan explained us situation. The Advaita says that it was not Krishna told the Paramahansa to his way. That they take the instances, Krishna says, among Pandavas I am Arjuna and among Yadavas I am Krishna. So, there is no difference between Arjuna and Krishna. So, how can we handle that?
See, Advaitis, first of all, handling Advaitis with Bhagavad Gita is very, very simple. That is, Bhagavad Ramanuja explained this very nicely. First of all, he asks Advaitis, do you accept Gita as Pramana or not? If they say yes, then he will ask, okay, who did the conversation happen between? Krishna and Arjuna. Now you have to accept extremely knowledgeable and Arjuna. Then only this whole Pramana aspect will come. If a person himself is ignorant, Krishna himself is not fully knowledgeable, then this Gita itself will not live up its standard. So they will accept naturally Krishna is supreme. They will accept. That is how they promote. If you go to any of the Advaita institutions, they'll say Krishna Paramatma only. They themselves say Krishna Paramatma. That means there is a Jivatma. They themselves in the terminology itself, they are differentiating, and they are promoting as if it is Krishna's words only. So their promotion and all will do like that only. Now, Bhagavad Ramanuja asks them, okay, you accept that one is supremely knowledgeable, another is ignorant. That is why the knowledgeable person is advising the ignorant person. So he is asking, do you accept this foundation first? And yes, then you say knowledgeable, then he is the only Atma. Then why will he do Upadesham to non-existing person? If a person is supremely intelligent, supremely knowledgeable, will that person go and talk to a non-existent person? He knows clearly that Arjuna, because he is knowledgeable about Advaita principle. He knows that only Krishna is truth and everything is false. If he is truth and everything is false, why will truth go on? He himself is what only knowledge he can access. He is only that that accept. Then there is no point. No? He himself is not clear about Arjuna's nature, true nature. Then why would we listen to Gita, which is not complete in this way? So they have to accept. They have no other choice that accepting Krishna is supreme. He is instructing as Paramatma. He is accepting Jivatma as a disciple and he is instructing. But if the Paramatma is the only Atma, why will he talk to someone who is non-existing? That is the main question that nobody can answer.
Why he is saying that how Pandavas and Krishna?
See, that we have to listen Gita Bhashyam or go through the Gita explanation. It will be easily explainable. See, that is Vibhuti Yogam, Vishwarupa Darshanam. These are areas where Bhagavan says how vast his spread is, how his omnipresence is, and anything we see in this world, they are all either properties of Bhagavan, they are some special manifestation of different things are there. For example, if I am the star, different, I am these will to different there. So he is standing out in the Adityas, Vishnu among Adityas. That means among similar personalities, so greatness. There are places about him being the certain object. So there are different concepts like that. So if they ask, then you tell them you undergo Gita study, then you will understand what it is.
And Krishna also declares Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samhava.
Ha. Yeah.
But clearly says that Vasudeva, name also he mentions.
Exactly. And that also deeper meaning. If you look at if other concepts, they will explain Vasudeva is everything. But our acharyas explain that Vasudeva is Upayam and Vasudeva is Upayam. Those are the two main things for us. So he is saying here, I am the Upayam and I am the Upayam. So that is everything. The meaning of everything also differs between different philosophies. So Advaitis will say Vasudeva is everything and say, look, he is himself saying that I am everything. So they will take that in their favor also. So each philosophy is saying these things differently. For that we have to study the philosophy deeply under proper guidance. Then we will have a better idea. Otherwise, we will only have superficial. It is very complicated actually.
Yeah, I have some questions for you regarding Gita because so what Gita theories have been like evolved throughout the time of Swami. Gita have like many versions and many bhashyam. So in the Shaivic version, what they say is like how Swami mentioned, right? Somewhat other deities speaking through Krishna there. So they say that Krishna was in yogic union with some other deity, so he could speak Gita. So after that, in Mahabharatam, they quote one more famous shloka that Krishna couldn't tell the Gita after once again. And they even have written some more fake stories, like he incarnated as Sri Rama, right? So he was hearing Gita from some other deity. Like that, the stories
See,
have
we don't
been.
need to worry about these stories. What are these stories going to do for us?
Yeah,
We know they are fake stories.
yeah,
So why worry and to go into that? Better to avoid arguments and discussions and confrontations with other philosophy people. If somebody says something, we don't need to respond to every criticism, every thing which is raised in social media, everything we don't need to respond. If it is reasonable, if they come on a particular platform where there is equal opportunity, there is neutral thought process, then we can argue and prove. Otherwise, we don't need to respond to every single presentation, every single. After Nanji's time, there was very little arguments and debates and participation in those things. Mostly from Namballe's time, the whole mood changed into enjoying Alvar's works because Bhagavad Ramanuja has done whatever was required to the extent that everyone accepted Bhakti Marga, everyone accepted Vishnu's greatness, even opposing scholars with opposing views respected Bhagavad Ramanuja and accepted his honesty and neutrality, and wherever they studied his Bhashyam properly, they accepted. So job was done at that time. There were occasional debates and arguments and so on, but they were very minimum. The mood changed into going deeper into Divya Prabandhams, Rahasya Granthams, learning them properly in Kalakshepam method, and going deeper into that in analyzing every single word of Divya Prabandham and so on. So that was the. So we should also try to look into Divya Prabandhams, which itself, whatever we need, so the experience, it gives us knowledge, it gives us inspiration. Everything is given in Divya Prabandham. So we can focus on it. So some people may feel that, oh, we are not Tamil speakers, so it's a little bit difficult for us to understand Divya Prabandham. But nowadays we have very good authentic translations are also there. Slowly we can start learning and experiencing the meanings of Divya Prabandhams. See, in Sanskritam also we don't have much expertise. It's not like everyone is a scholar in Sanskritam. We are going to depend on some English translation for Bhagavad Gita and we are going to try to understand. Similarly, we can put some effort in understanding Divya Prabandham also with whatever resources we have, and try to understand. Because if we go too much into debates and arguments and Vedantam and all that, we are missing out on so much of experience, Anubhavam, and our own personal melting down. See, instead of becoming rough, we should melt. So the more we go into Vedanta, we will be, becoming more, hard and hard-hearted and philosophy, and it's required. But it's required most for scholars. But for us, we can go into the pasurams, recite the pasurams, enjoy the meanings, enjoy different explanations of different acharyas, and go deeper into philosophy, and gain more experience and develop Atma Gunams, humility, compassion, helping others, serving with a pure mood. These things we will get from Divya Prabandham Pasrams and Rahasya Granthams only. We will not get these from Vedanta. Not directly. It is there. That is the source for us anyway. But it is not directly visible. And commentators who explained Vedanta also focused more on these aspects rather than developing Atma Gunams and having a good bhavam, good relationship with Bhagavatas, good understanding, helping others. These things are not focused in Vedanta commentaries. So, because their focus is little different there. I think it's getting late, almost 9:30. So we'll end the session. We'll continue tomorrow anyway. We'll have a lot of time there. Don't know how many are coming, but whoever comes there can enjoy the sessions tomorrow also. Alvar Embermanar Jiyar Tirudi Gadesharanam, Jiyar Tirudi Gadesharanam, and nAchchiyAr Tirudi Gadesharanam.